Welcome to episode 46 of the Tough Draw Talks podcast. I'm your host, Brad Hughes. Appreciate you being along for the ride. Today we are coming to you from the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This is the truly hallowed ground for the sport, and we are honored to be here as guests of the PRCA. We are here during the Pikes Peak or Bust rodeo event held annually in Colorado Springs, which has now been called the NFR Open. This rodeo is a great opportunity for circuit champs to come and take home some big prize money in an incredible environment surrounded by this mountain landscape. Before we get started, though, we want to also give a very big thank you to our presenting sponsor this year, the Lane Frost brand. We appreciate everything Stetson and the Frost family has done for us here at Tough Draw in all our ventures, including this podcast. Be sure and visit lanefrost.com for some amazing hats, shirts, and everything Lane Frost, and to celebrate one of the greatest legacies rodeo and sports in general has ever known. Make sure and use our discount code TDT15 to save on your next order. Our second guest here at the Hall of Fame is Kansas Cowboy, Lane Frost brand athlete, and repeat customer of the podcast, Trey Holston. Since the last time we sat down with Trey, he has won around at the NFR and also has maintained top 10 positioning throughout this year in the PRCA. Trey's got a lot going on, and we're excited to dive back in. Trey, how's it going, man?
Good, dude. Episode 46. We're
46.
Some heavy statistics.
Dude,
Wow.
You know what's funny? I was actually looking back at it, and you've actually doubled up because your episode was episode 23.
Okay.
And now you're 46.
Nice.
So we've done that many since.
And I am 23 years old.
There you go.
Nice.
It's just 23, 46.
Yeah, it's going good, dude. I'm happy to be here. This many podcasts, and to be back on a podcast, I may have done something bad enough or good enough to be back. So,
Well, we'll dive in and we'll find out. But, since we did have you on the podcast previously, we won't do your typical icebreakers, but I do want to do a couple questions kind of tied to the theme of being here at the Hall of Fame, if you don't mind jumping in.
all right.
So, when you were growing up, what cowboy inspired you?
That's a funny question. I was just talking to somebody the other day about this. I think as a kid, I was surrounded by it so much, and it was just like what I did that I didn't really pay attention much to it as a kid. So it wasn't like a super big thing. I mean, it's hard to say, it's cliche, but he's so famous and so awesome that like Lane Frost brand is up there. Lane Frost
Yep.
is up there, and guys like that, Tuff Hedeman, all your big names. But there's so many guys throughout there. Ted News, endless. But I think it was more like overall like how the professional guys carried themselves. I like the camaraderie they had.
Yeah.
So I can't really dial in on one, I'd say, but watching professional athletes do like professional things, and it's like they don't care. They're just professional doing professional things. That was cool to me. So
Heck yeah. I mean, walking around here at the Hall of Fame and just seeing everything and everybody and all the enshrined, memorabilia and old gear and stuff like that, it's such a cool and special feeling. When you walk around the Hall of Fame, I'm going to toss a word out at you, and I want you to kind of tell me what you think as you're thinking about the Hall of Fame and being inside those doors. The word legacy comes to mind.
Man, I think of legacy, I think of like probably as a whole of what's in there, but you can't pinpoint a buckle, you can't pinpoint like one bridle, one saddle. I think a legacy is probably like what you could say outside of having buckles and outside of having the all the accolades and all that stuff. But because when you hear about legendary people, you don't necessarily hear about the gold buckle with the 3 rubies in it and stuff like that. So like the stories in there that they sit down and actually prepare and write about those guys, that's worth a sit and read.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. And since we're in Colorado in general, what's your favorite outdoor activity?
Favorite outdoor activity? It's probably moving towards hunting. It was specifically fishing for a while, but due to my profession, we have a lot of winter time and not much summertime, so I'm kind of leaning towards as much as I can hunting. Very cool. You much of a hiker? Apparently. No, but I am as much as I hate it, I love to go jogging at good places, and there's a few of them here.
Yep.
My knees are killing me right now I thought I was going up Pikes Peak, but it must have been Pikes Mound. But yeah, I like jogging in cool places because I don't like jogging on a treadmill, sitting there staring at your numbers. Yep. But I don't do much hiking. Heck yeah.
Very cool, man. And like I referred to earlier, for more answers of the typical icebreaker questions, referred back to episode 23 for more of that basic information. But we got a lot of ground to cover, so we're just going to dive right in. So, since we last spoke, you were 0 at the NFR when we last sat down, but you had the right mentality, and you got it done twice. But you definitely, you got it done big time one night.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you remember about that round that you won, and a little bit about the bull, and just kind of what you remember.
Yeah. I think the most prevalent thing that sticks out to me is that Stetson Wright rode him before, and he was 92 points, something like that. But when you're at the NFR, you're not really going back to these high mark rides and stuff like that. You're just kind of, that's what the bull does. So that's what I'm looking at. And
yeah.
he may not do that, but that's what he just did. So I'm going off that. And a fire was lit, and I was excited. I knew I was capable of doing that, and I knew that I was at a point where if something cooler to happen, it would be about now. So kind of let go of everything I couldn't control and got excited about what I was doing, and didn't put the stranglehold on everything and let it happen. And some good things came from it. Now I got a round buckle.
Heck yeah, man. What did that feel like for you? How cool was that?
I expected it to feel like Superman himself was going to come down and put a cape on me, but the truth was that I did a lot of things I did throughout the regular season that worked just as good there.
Mm-hmm.
That bull still had 4 legs with a tail and big old fat back on him.
Yep.
And bucked hard and didn't want me on him, and that's no different than regular season. So what felt good there was some normality, like normalcy,
Yeah.
I guess you'd say. It felt like I finally got back into something I know how to do, instead of okay, I got my hands in the air, I don't know where to put these right now.
Yeah.
It just felt good to get back in the saddle, I guess.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. What round was that?
That was round 9. I rode my first
9.
one in round 8. It was
Yep.
a dry spell until then, but round 9 dub.
Breaking the ice in round 8, what did that do for your mentality, do you think, going into 9?
Well, the switch was...
It was the podcast, just say it.
Well, yeah. it was a 4 or 5 day delay from the podcast. No. I think the switch is when what I had stepped into, there was all these expectations, and if I don't do this, then I'm this, and
Yeah.
well, shoot, if I'm not the most perfect athlete here, then I just can't ever do this. You don't straight up think that, but subconsciously that's what you've got locked in your mind. And when you ride the first one, you no longer have to be perfect. I no longer had to be perfect. I broke it. The worst thing that could happen was what was going to happen the first 7 rounds. So
Yeah.
I had all to gain and nothing to lose. And then, I got a round win, but the most important part to me was that I didn't stop the flow of what just happened. I allowed myself to win. I wasn't fighting the current of I had to be perfect that day.
Yeah.
So that was huge.
Yeah, and and when we talked on the last episode, you talked a lot about mentality and how much that plays into your game, especially. And so I'm sure breaking that ice, getting going, and then you didn't go good in round 10 for you, but then coming into the next season, you were like a man on fire.
Yeah, I'll touch on that. That was it's been fun this year, man. It's been so much fun. I think last year I bought my car January 8th. I screenshot that day because I never wanted to forget that I decided that day I wanted to do it, but I didn't enter. The first big rodeo I went to was San Angelo, that was, and I bucked off there, so didn't even do anything. But that was the first big one I went to. No San Antonio, no Fort Worth, no Houston, none of these amazing opportunities to jump up. And not to mention, I probably prided myself in wanting to go rodeo and hitting the road hard. So when everyone stopped or after the season, I went home for a little bit. But in January and even late in December, I was going to rodeos. I wanted my hand in the rope, and I think I thrive off of getting on more bulls, and that really excited me. And I also learned how to back off of needing complete existential amount of bucking bulls under me. More trust was grown, and a deeper root was in my system of I can go out and perform today. I didn't need 30 bulls yesterday to do that. So and I'm 23, I'm growing in the sport, I'm
Still
growing as a
learning.
man, all those good things. So but that it felt good because I had systems in place, and I didn't know if they would work or not, and they did. But the fact that they went well, I have something to go off the rest of my career, and I can say, those 15 push-ups and the, whatever, the guava drink worked real good for me. That's not what I did, but I have something to go off of. And once you get your first win, you can go, bingo, aha, I can go back to that. I got a win doing that, and that felt good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket. So I guess to answer your question, I was on fire and still am growing, but it was huge that I have something to go off of, especially with years to come in it, hopefully.
For sure. Absolutely, man. And then, and it led into circuit finals, right? And, talk to me a little bit about the circuit finals, because that's why you're here, right?
Right, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how the circuit finals went down. I know it was pretty cool that you and your buddy were 1 and 2 in the circuit finals, but talk to me a little bit about that and the timing of that, because that was in, October? When was that?
That's the middle of October. I want to say like the 11th through the
So walk me through this. So the season ends that end of September. And, so like you alluded to, some guys go home and they're like, I'm going to sit tight, just practice, stay healthy, blah, blah, blah for the NFR. But you kept going, right? And so tell me a little bit about the circuit finals and what you remember and how that went down.
I'll add some dialogue with that, like some background. So like going into any circuit finals, I think I rode one bull when I was like 74 points or something like that. Yeah. That's the only bull I'd ever ridden at the circuit finals, let alone cared to be there or like had goals towards it. And that was one of my goals I wrote down at the beginning of the year. And my friend Colton Byram, like you said, we got to come here together, but I watched him just dominate that and heard the stories about like Sage Kimsey coming through. And so fast forward to the circuit finals, man, I was 2 weeks out of taking the biggest rock I'd ever put on my shoulders off. I got it off. I made the NFR. Even though I knew I had it made 3 weeks prior, didn't have it made, but I was up there and I just had to keep performing. When like that last day came off, the first day of that next month, it was like, all right, I'm good now. Like I feel good. So it was like, you have a few moments in your career, I would say, like if guys really look back and they'll go, that was like pure bliss. Like I wasn't thinking, I wasn't trying, I wasn't worried about thinking or trying. I was happy to be there. I wasn't guaranteed success, but I was pretty excited about it. Yeah. And that was one of those moments for me, pure bliss. I even bucked off a bull there, but looking back, I enjoyed myself. I had fun, and going into that, I almost broke Sage Kimsey's record I think he had for the circuit finals, and I didn't even know that going into it. So it was cool. I just had like a bunch of heat behind me rolling into it, and man, that was a blast. Like I said, a blissful moment. So. Yeah,
absolutely, dude. And so that really helped set up your year, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like it helped kind of, because I mean, in the driver's seat, you were in the driver's seat at the beginning, like, basically from October through about January, you were sitting in that top 2 or 3, pretty steadily because of a great start with the circuit finals, right?
Yeah, that circuit finals, I mean, because they have switched it a few years in and out, like it didn't count, it does count, it didn't count, now it does count again. And, and it was like, over $10,000 towards the rodeo season. Yep. I mean, that's a hard weeks of work. During the regular season, and you can win that. There's good extreme bulls and stuff, but I mean, compared to what last year, the year previous, buying my car January 8th, no dollars, come in, hurt myself, still no dollars, and yada yada, and that's also a big relief. 'Cause I'm like, well, I did what I did last year. Yeah. I can show up this year with $20,000 already on the board, and they're wanting to pay this much to win this rodeo and this much to win this one. Let's go, baby! Like keep feeding them to me, and I think that mentality was very beneficial.
Heck yeah, man. So, circuit finals, you got to go to some of the bigger rodeos throughout the beginning of the year and stuff, and now you're into the summer run. Talk to me a little bit about, as the calendar turned to January after the circuit finals, kind of talk us through your year, what you're looking forward to basically from here to September. And just kind of the mentality and what rodeos have kind of hit for you, and how's everything going for you right this second, and what you look forward to over the next couple months to close the season out.
Yeah. We're getting in the hot part. And the funny thing is, it seems like if you look at the calendar, it's not that bad. But if you look up this mountain hill of rodeos we got coming up, which all about perspective there, but like 3 months isn't that bad, but 75 rodeos is pretty bad. Like that's a lot of rodeos to go to, right? And I don't really have the expectations, but I do know it's like a learning curve for me, because last year I was nickel and dime everybody. I was day moneying, and I was 80-point riding at the ones that nobody else was going to, and I was taking every whack I could possibly get. And this year it looks different. Like I'm on the board heavily, like Cheyenne's coming up, all these rodeos I remember from last year. So like zero expectations, but a lot of like goals coming into it. And I have goals to be in positions going into the finals, and just some things to get after. But as of like right now, total honestly, like it's been pretty rough past 3 or 4 weeks here.
Yeah.
And it's like been a pretty dang good learning curve. Like I keep throwing everything I got at it, as far as like I talk with a mental coach, and we're trying here and here. I'm gonna figure it out, and it's gonna be a dang good lesson. And I've got a few things I think I'm really turning it back around. But that's the beauty of it, right? I mean, we start out like a house of fire, and then next day you're not at the bottom of the barrel, but in 3 weeks I've switched 6 spots on the standings. So there's no room for forgiveness, and you can sit around and lollygag about it, or you can just put your big boy britches on, face the truth, figure it the heck out, and keep rolling, and I'm doing my damnedest and turn around. And what better time than one of the hottest times of the year, middle of July right now.
That's right.
Colorado Springs right here, NFR Open, and a plethora of
right after.
I mean, Cheyenne, and just keep putting your hand on the rope, keep showing up, and easier said than done right now, but that's what's ahead of me.
Yeah, like you say, what better one to start on than Pikes Peak or Bust, and here at the NFR Open. And the cool thing about that is it could feel a lot like a full circle type moment with the circuit final success, and then benefiting from being here, because that's how you got invited, right?
Right. Yeah. How great is that they give you? I mean, no one talks about this, but there's a lot of guys that don't go to the circuit finals or don't get to go to this Colorado Springs NFR Open. I mean, there's a lot of select guys here, so this is cool.
Absolutely, man. All right, so we had Colton Byram on, and he told us some stories. You probably saw the picture we shared.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're going to recreate that here in a little bit. But I just wanted to touch on your relationship with Colton, y'all's friendship, how traveling together helps you and how it pushes y'all.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. We're going to have to hold another podcast. But, man, Colton's one of my best friends, and it's pretty unique. Like, I would say a lot of guys go with their good friends and travel with, and Creek Young is our other traveling partner, and we know him just as good as the other. Yep. And but the fact that you grow up with somebody that now you trust and believe in to get in the same box that has wheels on it and drive around the world to chase the same goal, it's pretty dang cool. Like, It's not accidental, And so the fact that we get to do that is really cool. But on top of we set out and we make sure we have good things behind us when we pick traveling partners and reasoning. And one of the reasons I love being around Colton is because he keeps it light. Like, me and him, our relationship is built off humor, and we have a lot of sarcasm, which is a great default thing to go to, right? And we have there's a lot of serious moments. What we do is no mere joking matter, but when things are tough, we can crack a joke and it turns some things around, A lot of stories to be told about on campfire one day, but we're just getting started too. So
absolutely, man. No, that's cool. That's cool. You and I've talked. You alluded to mentality. We've talked about kind of the mental health side of the game and some of the advancements. We talked a little bit about the PBR teams, but you actually have jumped in. Actually, we've jumped in to something together. But one of the big things that I see with the sport and that I've always appreciated about you is kind of your business mentality, your business mind, the way you compartmentalize, the way your past, and how, it's not always just been a cakewalk, but it's something you've had to work for and really search within yourself, which I think helps you earn it and makes you feel more appreciative. But, just recently you and I talked, and you wanted to take on representation. Talk a little bit about that and why to you that was such an important thing, and we'll talk a little bit about our new agency that you were our first signee for, called Tough Draw Sports and Entertainment.
Yeah. I'll start off by saying that I believe that what we do is really turning into an athlete sport and not a cowboy. We're athlete cowboys, but you just can't tell me that you can't be athletic anymore. You can't it's guys that do it, and that's a whole nother book to be talked about. But I consider myself an athlete. I'm a rodeo athlete. Therefore, if you look at the history books of anything you would consider athletes at a professional level, there is other revenues and other pluses that come to taking care of your body the way you do, professionalism, carrying yourself in a certain manner. So business things would be in that realm for me, and to have some partners and people I love being around to take care of that, nurture that for me, and grow it into some things that hopefully go all the way into the last day I ride a bull and on. That's huge, right? That's huge. So we got an exciting thing going on with this agency and Tough Draw Sports and Entertainment, and we're gonna keep moving forward with that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and you've been a big advocate since you signed. Even though this is actually the first formal time that we're talking about this, and again, there was no better person amongst our group. There was no better person to sit down and talk to than the first person that jumped in with us and really committed and saw the vision of what we're trying to do. But from my perspective, it's exactly like you said. It's this is an athlete sport. This is not just a cowboy doing cool stuff, and that's the thing. I think when you look at sitting outside the Hall of Fame and you see the guys that are in there enshrined, they realized that a long time ago, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, there's a reason why there's been tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands of cowboys since, and there's only so much room in that Hall of Fame, Right. And I think that the people that do take it seriously, the people that do work hard, and like you said, these days you can't even get entered into some of these rodeos if you don't take it seriously. Colton talked about with us on the last episode about 110%. You get in the box, you know exactly what you're doing. There's a reason you have intentions when you put your hand in the rope, I think is actually a quote from him.
Yeah.
And so, when we looked at this opportunity, we do a lot of marketing, we do a lot of video work, we have a lot of relationships. And for us, that's what we saw. We saw an opportunity to work hand in hand with guys that we're already doing stuff with, whether it's sitting down to do the podcast or short films, or just do life with, just as brothers and stuff like that in Christ, like just being able to share. And, if you have questions about work, business, family, relational, anything, like we want to be there. Just like I know Stetson Frost has been there for you, and that's part of the reason you wear the Lane Frost brand so proudly, and will always, as long as Stetson will have you, you know. And that's the same way with us as far as working with the Frost family and that legacy, getting to be as close as we are to both Tough Hedeman and then the Frost family and stuff like that. That's one of the things that we really cherish and revere, is like that understanding of, like, for us, we look at all these different businesses and these different sports and these different things, and we see the types of money that they're making, and they're playing a game in most instances, and it's not life or death in most instances. And we just put our heads together and, brought in Mike which is a NFL agent that's with us that, has helped a ton with contracts and starting to open some doorways for some of these outside sponsors and understanding the mentality of an athlete. But, specifically when we talk to you about it, walk our audience through just a little bit of your mentality and the thought process for you, and kind of, some of the conversations you and I have had about what, as an athlete like y'all, like what helped y'all the most. Like, I want people that listen to this podcast to hear, like, some of the things of why, for example, it's more important for us to try to work on getting you more money as opposed to just, here's $5,000 worth of denim or clothes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. What helped you,
Yeah, I would, first and foremost, and this is number one, this is all of overall things that helps everything, is a relationship with God, Jesus, and one heck of a light to lead by and a North Star to go by. So I just always like to mention that first, like before we say anything. And everyone I work with, has a pretty good base with that, and we've had conversations about that. But right on the back side of that, I always say, and I always have this conversation, we've had this conversation, me and Stetson, the friends and family over there at Hobart, everybody, is that I want to be your buddy. Like, I want to be your friend. I want to be able to call and say, hey man, happy birthday, hey, Merry Christmas, hope you all have a good one. Whatever, text you guys. Like, I don't want it to be like, I just hate the idea of like, super like, yes sir, no sir, okay, all right, bye. Like the whole suit and tie, see you later stuff. I just don't like that. But it's also been like the most benefit. Like, I did that in hopes of, like, I don't know, I guess prevailing on just like some good friendships. Like, I want it to be based off of that. But that has been like the most like potent thing in every relationship I've had, is that I put that first, and God, and also the fact that, like, hey, I don't want this to be You know, you don't even hardly remember my name type of deal. Like I want to know you and put that first. So that's been super beneficial, and it's kept a lot of like things that I look back in my past and I go, that probably wouldn't have been very good. And I'm glad it didn't work out. And it's no like hard feelings for anything, but that's first and foremost is God, and just knowing that like we're stepping in this as partners and friends, and we have a job. We both want to put dollars in our pocket and help people out, and we both want to see benefits from this. And I want to do that as your friend, as your buddy, and as a business partner. So that's first and foremost. And I think something really unique that you could touch on real quick is like, what is like people are starting to not miss out on, but how about like the freshness of rodeo, like uniqueness, and like there's so many, I guess, avenues, and I'll let you dive into that.
Yeah, 100%. You know, a lot of that honestly has been created by Yellowstone, as we've talked about that a little bit on this podcast. And, you know, to me, shining a light on Western culture in general is great, because what it does is it allows people to seek out Western culture and really learn the truth about Western culture. You know, Hollywood, you know, Yellowstone, Hollywood, you know, everything's over dramatized. They've got a job to do and a story to tell. And that's part of it. But, you know, making cowboy cool again has been something that's really been special, and it's been spectacular. And there's been a lot of, like the PBR, for example. PBR has understood that, and they have really leaned in with the relationship with Cole Hauser and the teams, and continuing to grow the sport and all these other things. And so for us, you know, as filmmakers and as creatives, like we've always been about telling this story. Like we've been here even before Yellowstone. And but what I see an opportunity with for athletes like yourself, and you know, and with relationships, again, like we're going to finish this podcast and I'm going to go sit down with the PRCA and talk to some of their marketing people. But like, you know, there are so many opportunities out there, whether it's creating content, telling stories. That's what we want to do. We want to focus on that element of it, and we want to show people that, like, if you think cowboy's cool, you know, how as a business can you make money off of that? How does advertising work for you? Because, you know, you look around and you look at Sage, or you look at Stetson, or you look at Jose, you know, they have good social media followings, but like a lot of businesses just look at influencers and numbers. And like for us, you know, the numbers with a lot of cowboys may not be there, but at the same time, there's stories worth telling. There's the actual physical up and down the road that constantly is happening. There's just so much opportunity for businesses to get involved. And that's, you know, and as you and I talked about, that's one of the cool things that, educate cowboys on media, being better at it, helping them grow in specific ways, you know, leverage all the things that we're doing with Tough Trial, leverage, you know, how good of a relationship we have with the Lane Frost brand like you do. You know, there's things that the podcast, right? I mean, we have sponsors on the podcast, but we want to look for relationships exactly like you're talking about, where, you know, we can grow a friendship, we can grow a dynamic, and everybody sees the value.
Yeah,
right?
Beneficial all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I think that's great. I think you nailed it. I think it's huge to know that, and it's not like, one, I'm not bashing on any other sport, and two, I'm not saying that nobody doesn't know about cowboys, but I think it's huge to know that with the cowboy lifestyle, especially it turning into more like an athletic thing, is that like it's not transparent. Like you're not seeing a one-time image. Like the dude that went out there and busted his hand in the bronc riding off his cantle and split his knuckle, his bone sticking out. That's not false. He's got to go home and work with that. You know, if he's got kids, he's got to pick his kid up with that. Like this is all like about as real as it gets. Yeah. And the 16-hour drives and the state to state and being partial mechanic and like all these things of going home, whether you are going home and you got 300 head of mama cows to take care of, or you have
a wife and kid,
you know, these people, some guys go home to businesses and they work their tails off so that they can hit the road. Like all these things, it's not transparent. Like what you are seeing is, it's not like, it's not even a very sexy thing sometimes, you know. It's not like cool. It's not like, there's probably some things they wish they could be doing other than that. just to be out here and follow a passion and a dream and a lifestyle that's been lived for a long time, and I think in a very beneficial way is evolving. So I just hope people know when they're investing in cowboys and cowboy lifestyle and you're watching us on TV and Cowboy Channel, all these awesome things, that it's not transparent, man. It's about as real as it can get. So
yeah, and that's one of the coolest parts, within the storytelling. Is just every single one of y'all has a different story. And that's part of the reason I love doing this podcast so much, and we'll always continue to do this podcast as long as people keep listening. It's just sitting down and talking to y'all about what is life like, like for some examples, like Chase Doherty, his wife's an entrepreneur. Josh Frost's wife, Erica, started selling those jackets and stuff, but she also ropes, and Josh does rosin and you do welding, and, and all these things that a lot of people don't really see. They just see going and getting on, and you make money in 8 seconds. And what a lot of people don't know, just to also kind of explain some of this is, and Trey, you can kind of fill in the gaps here as far as if I'm wrong, but they may make, the PRCA standing show, they may make $100,000, but then when you take out the expenses to get up and down the road, and the cost of if they get hurt, and the maintenance on their truck, and paying for gas, and all these different things, I mean, they make about middle lower class, in a lot of respects when it comes to that. They may only bring home $60,000 a year. And, Trey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of what we've seen. And that's why, for us as a passion, it's a passion to tell stories. It's a passion to work with you guys. It's a passion to help you guys. And it's cool because when we bring people, we have multiple partners on this agency, like Mike being one of them, as I talked about with the NFL. He has fallen in love. He texts me nonstop and is like, Brett, is Trey riding tonight? Who's riding? Are any of our guys up on Cowboy Channel?
Yeah.
PBR, where can I watch?
Exciting. Exciting.
And he loves it. He loves it. And it's, he's been an NFL agent for 20 plus years, and he said that this has rejuvenated his career, and that's cool. That's cool to hear, because as it's relatively, quote, a small sport compared to the major Americans, right now anyway.
Yeah. And I think what we're both the subject of what kind of side subject, what we're alluding to is that I guess when all of what we're talking about and the non-transparency and stuff is I guess what always comes to my mind is that I work with Wrangler, and when you think of Wrangler, or I think of maybe a tennis shoe on an NBA player or whatever it is, but I actually put on Wranglers every day. That's what I got in my closet, man.
Yep.
When I go home, it's not like I'm shoot, I gotta go weld today and I gotta prove to people I'm welding. I'm welding, so I need to take 30 minutes of footage and get back to my 12-hour day of welding, or whatever it is.
Yep.
And I love that. I think that is just irresistible. People come over here, and it's not we're trying to sell anything, but like I'm saying, it's who we are and it's what we do. And
it's, it adds, in my opinion, part of the reason I think people are falling in love with Western culture is as a country, and I'm not going to get political or anything like that, but as a country, we've been through a lot of turmoil, and we've been through a lot over the last several years. And I think that a lot of people see the way that Western culture lives life, the way that they take things, the way that they respond to things, the respect, the pride, the courage, the patriotism, all these things. And a lot of people probably thought that it didn't exist anymore.
Right. Yeah, this is never gone away.
Yeah.
As much as you maybe don't want to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You go behind the shoots, to the after party, to the whatever, the long night drives. It's the same as it was about 60 years ago.
Exactly.
Just new brands and better bucking bulls is all.
Exactly. But anyway, yeah, I mean, for us with Tough Draw Sports and Entertainment, we'll you can follow along with us on Instagram at Tough Draw Sports. But we'll be making some announcements of some of the guys that we have on our roster that Trey's helped us get, and some of the key guys that jumped on shortly thereafter. Trey have also helped us acquire, and some new things that we're trying to work through with the PRCA as well. So we will keep y'all posted on that. But Trey, man, I've really enjoyed jumping on. Tell me a little bit about what do you I'm gonna just throw some random stuff at you. So bull aficionado.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Colton here. So when Colton talks about bucking bulls, what goes through your mind?
Like, I feel like a monkey. I feel like I'm like not like I'm just like whatever. Like he just knows. And little quick note, we call him Gator inside the rig. That's another story, but his nickname is Gator. But
He told us a little bit about it on the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but when Gator starts talking, it's like, okay, shut up. Like, we get it, you know. And we were joking earlier, like he'll tell you if there's 17 spots on one side and 3 on the other, and 3.5-inch horns, and he knows them. And it's funny because he can't remember what he had for lunch the day before, but he's good. He's good on the bull list, man. It's annoying, but it is helpful.
That's funny. Well, if you're ever just like rolling your eyes at him and then you go buck off, how does that feel? Does he ever bring it up and be like, "Hey, I told you that bull was going to do that"?
He gives it time. He's real good at letting stuff simmer.
Give it time.
And it's just kind of like that guy who does a sprinkling off his elbow. I'm making if you guys can't see me, I'm making the gesture, but he'll boom, snap right on you. He's like, "Told you, dude, I told you," and be real subtle. And you just be like, "Shut up," and roll on. But no, he don't rub it in too bad, but he will rub it in a little bit.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Man, let's see. We got a couple fan questions, so let me go ahead and jump to those real quick.
Makes me feel loved, man. Like I'm seen, you know.
Absolutely, we do. All right. So Henry asks, okay, actually, this is awesome. This actually ties exactly to what we just talked about with Colton. But do you like to know the bull's tendencies?
Yeah, I do. I think that there's a lot of opinions about that, but personally, I like to see like one or two videos. I don't really like to ask people. I'll ask Colton, like he's somebody I trust to ask, and there's not many people I'll ask. But yeah, man, if I can see a quick video, I can get my own opinion of the bull. And like in a season like this, where like if we have to go from California to Pennsylvania and it's a $5,000 plane ticket and I'm going to be 65 points, I'll turn him out. Otherwise, like I kind of got something to go off of and I get real excited about it. So
yeah. So Coy Polmeyer asks, did you ever conquer blackjack in the practice pen?
I don't think I did. There's no way that bull. So this
give the backstory.
Yeah, I'll give you the backstory. So we bucked so many poor animals at the Polmeyer family's house, and two of my best friends from back home, and they're riding bulls phenomenally. But we bucked we had a heifer. We broke her horn. We had to tie a rebar to her horn to keep her horns up. We called her rebar, and she was so crazy. And Blackjack was big and scary. We had a bull called High Tide, but I really don't think I ever rode Blackjack. Like Blackjack was our first spinning. He was a Coriani bull steer. I don't remember what he was, but he was freaking scary. Like make your stomach hurt before you had to get on him. So I don't think I did. I think Coy may have once or twice, but Mason Couch, you guys may not know who that is, but he'll get a chuck all this because he got slammed so hard. He was the first guy. He was our test dummy, and now he's a calf roper. So just tell you how that went. He got slammed that hard.
That's great, man.
But no, I don't think I rode Blackjack.
Oh, very cool. Terry commented and said, "Way to go, Salt. Hang on tight."
Yeah.
So we got a few minutes. I've now finally gotten the explanation on Salt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you gave that to me at Choctaw in Durant, but explain to our audience why Salt.
Yeah, this is so funny because people actually call me this and they don't even like every time I see, oh gosh dang it, I just had a brain fart. Anyway, I'll just have people call me, "What's up, Salt?" And now I turn around and catch it. But one of my best friends just got married the other day. His real name is Cayenne Pepper Brown, and we met in 7th grade, and we hit it off like no other. He's just one of my best buddies, and it turned into like a joke. We were constantly on our phones, taking stupid videos and wanting to be cool on Instagram and stuff. And I was like, this is perfect. This is Salt and Pepper. And a while back, like I wasn't even supposed to have Instagram. My parents would like get on to me for having it, and went from just Trey Holston to Trey Salt Holston, and it became kind of like a little stigma and a cool thing. And I think it got me some followers in the beginning, and now I see people and they call me Salt.
Heck yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, Trey, man, I really, really have enjoyed this. Thank y'all to those fans that submitted questions and all the ones that continue to do so. Sometimes we miss some of them, so I apologize for that. But thank y'all for those. And if y'all wouldn't mind, we'd love to hear your feedback. And if you're enjoying what you hear on this podcast, please make sure and comment or give a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Trey, anything else you want to share with your fans of the sport? or Colton or Creek in the truck?
No, I think we speak our mind plenty in the rig, but I guess one thing I just like to share with everybody, like I said, kind of a rough season right now, but I love what I do, man. I'm so thankful. I feel so blessed. Like, when things are going good, like, it's easy to go good, but when things are going bad, like, this is a cool time. So I'm excited to learn something out of this, and I say that with a lot of humility. Like, it's not like I'm like proud to say that, but man, I love what I do. I feel super blessed. I got awesome friends and family. I work with amazing people. Like I always say, my God loves me, my family loves me, and I love me, and I'm happy where I'm at, man, and I'm excited to keep growing. So,
and just so y'all know, he's sitting here talking about how rough things are, but he did just win almost $5,000 at Calgary on a bull that honestly I think he should have won the round on, but that's another story.
No
but
comment. No
again,
comment.
he's bucked off. His riding percentage is probably lower than he likes, but again, he still has had some success and been able to maintain. So, but that's the mentality, right? That's the cool thing about you. That's the mentality of like, I want to learn and I want to get better. So anyway, again, thank you so much for being here, man. We really enjoyed this. And again, thank y'all for listening and for Lane Frost brand for sponsoring the podcast for 2023. Without the support Stetson gives us, we couldn't do what we love and give y'all what y'all like to hear. Go to lanefrost.com for merch and all things Lane Frost, along with all of their socials across the major platforms. And remember to use the code TDT15 to save 15% on your orders. Also, thanks again so much to the PRCA and the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame for being such amazing hosts and having us out here. This truly is hallowed ground, and we feel so blessed and honored to be here. And beautiful mountains in the background, like cloud cover right now. It couldn't be any better. I know we talked about salt, but Trey, if you would one more time, just kind of give us your social handles and where people can follow along with what you have going on.
Yeah, guys, if you want to follow, get on the gram, man. That's where I'm at. I got Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I'm just not a gossiper. So I'm on the gram. You guys get on there, Trey _salt _Holston. Man, I try to stay on my stories and keep everybody up with the little stuff in between. But you're going to see my bull rides. You're going to see what I do at home. And you're going to see some just awesome people I work with. So, yep, go check it out there.
Heck yeah. And also follow along with us on social media at Tough Draw and at Tough Draw Talks for more episodes of our podcast as we continue to bring y'all closer to the rodeo community. Until next time, everyone, enjoy the ride.